Hi guys, Rachel, teacher, healer, mystic here with for July 2022, my monthly divine channeled message. As you know, I don't know who it's going to be until I get it through. So it's just as much a surprise for me as it is for you guys. So let's see what wisdom we get through from Spirit today. As you guys know, I'm not a drama queen, so I try not to be anyway. So it's not going to be anything like me going into trance, because that's not the way it works for me. The way it works for me is I channel the words from my mouth. And that's how I'm going to deal with it. So just let me have a little feel around to see who I've got with me. I've got female spirit. I think she might be coming in on the Banshee vibration. A spirit who's dear to my heart. I'm just allowing her to draw close. She's kind of looking out of the window here. She actually seems quite young. Banshee energy normally is adult woman, but she seems quite young. A child, dark hair. And what's interesting is she's appearing to me like a cartoon, but I think it's her childlike connection, if that makes sense. She's looking out of my window and she's turning to look at me and showing me and pointing out to me what's going on outside. But the thing below my window is not my window. I live in a townhouse and it's not out overlooking my back garden, although I'm aware that is also there. It looks like a port with boats coming in and sailing back and forth. But it looks multi-aged. It doesn't look old and it doesn't modern. It looks like somewhere which has been there for a very, very long time. And she's just watching the boats coming in and out. When did you stop watching? Is what she says. When did you forget to look? I stand here all day, watching the clouds go by. Start taking it all in. And there's this idea that watching is different to looking. Watching is... She stood there in the quiet, just absorbing everything, and not just one thing, everything. The boats come in and out. They never stop. Everything always returns. Everything remains constant. This is security, yes, but it is also boredom. What about the days when the storms brew and the sky is black? What about the day when your heart turned cold? When did you forget to stop watching? When you turned your back on the beauty in the world? When you don't like what you see, it is up to you to change it, no one else. Yes, this can be hard, but start noticing. There is so much around you, and yet you miss the little things, the smiles, the kisses, the laughter, the trees, the birds. There is so much around you and you miss the detail. That is where the joy is. That man on the boat down there, he has had a good day. He has had a good catch. The woman in the street below me is selling flowers and she is tired. The man across the street has been sitting there all day and he is alone. What can I do to change that scene? Nothing. Everything. It is up to me what I do with this scene, how I choose to interact with it. I have never been alone, for I am always with you. We are always with you. We are always there. Never forget that. If you need a change in perspective, ask for it. If everything feels too heavy, look up and ask the heavens for rain. We will wash away the sin from the world so you can only see with renewed eyes that it is your difference, your impact, which makes the world a better place. Without you, the woman selling flowers would sell less. Without you, the man by himself wouldn't have a friend. Without you, there would be no one to buy the fish. Everything that you do has such an impact, and yet you see none of it because you are so focused on nothing. Every single time you do something, notice the ripples. The way you move through the world changes not just one thing, but everything. So give yourself more credit for what you do. Cling on a little harder. I think she's saying stare faster. There is more out there than you can fathom, and yet you do not take it all on board. Be there with the sea, the rain, and the waves. Be there when it lashes down. And pick up the jewels that are left, swept up on the seashore afterwards. Storms give us so much. There is so much debris on the beach, and all of it is treasure. When did you look at the world so jaded? Start anew, start afresh. In this moment, every day, start staring a little bit harder. See the detail. Help your friends. Change the world. And notice the difference that you make. Because you are not watching. You are simply there. And that's it. That's it. That's her whole message. She's still here looking out of my window, and I wish I was near the beach, right? I wish I was near the beach. If any of that resonated with you, I'd really love to hear. There was so much within that message in terms of the difference that we all make, and looking at ourselves through different eyes, and really taking in all of the beauty around us. It's something I do when I do meditations or hypnotherapy or any sort of healing treatment with clients. One of the biggest things that I always do is thank you, Heather, is part of that focus on the small things and those small bits of joy, because it is that detail. She's so right, it is that detail. Never come across that energy before. She had a Japanese anime energy to her. Now, could be one of two reasons for that. Either she is a Japanese spirit, and that won't be unusual for wherever my energy resonates. There seems to be a very strong Banshee energy running through some of the Japanese mythology. But I also have a daughter completely addicted to like Korean anime and Japanese anime, like all the anime stuff. And my son and I watch a lot of the sort of more serious movies as well. So I think there's a resonance in this house with that energy anyway. That she's an old soul, absolutely no doubt about it. I don't know if she was ever incarnate. I have a feeling she has always been almost like an angelic energy that absolutely connected into this, like, dark hair, couple of pigtails, or a bob, just depending on how she almost kind of flicks in and out of these visions of herself. But I think there's something in that as well, in respect that she sees herself in all children as well. So I think it's very easy when people are down, or when we are down, for people to kind of go, oh, look at the bright side, just pick yourself up, because it's tough, right? But ask for help, ask spirit for help, ask other people for help, and absolutely be open to that energy coming in while you're asleep, while you're sat there meditating, sat there praying. But the biggest place where we need to be open to this energy coming in is in our real lives. If we want change and we're not prepared to trust people enough, to relinquish control enough, to let down our guard enough, all of that stuff, to allow people to at least try to help us, we make it very difficult for ourselves. So if we ask for help, spirit will absolutely give it to us. We'll feel better emotionally. But also they act through people, right? What's that story about the guy stuck on the roof in the flood, and God's like, but I sent you a helicopter and a boat and a fireman with a ladder, and you took none of it. Hi, Sarah. And part of that is being open to receiving that help, and not feeling ashamed, or maybe feeling ashamed and pushing your way through it, or being honest with somebody about putting yourself in a vulnerable situation, which feels vulnerable and actually isn't. Like, I'm struggling, I need a friend, do you want to go out for a coffee? I don't have very many people who are close to me, and it would just be nice to meet somebody once a week for a coffee. Put yourself in that vulnerable position. It is tough, but the more that you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more people see that vulnerable side of yourself. It is tough because it involves these layers of things that we hide because of shame or guilt, or some rubbish that society and sort of generationally ends up getting placed upon us. So that's the message. If I can find out who the little Banshee girl is, then I will share that in any links that I get. I think if you look through some of the old stuff, you'll see where I don't know who this is, and I'll do some research, but found who the spirit is. So if I can find out who she is, this little girl, then I will do. And I have before, particularly with something that I've had in through from Japan, I found that spirit. So as part of the mythological story. So it is cool how they come through, even when I don't know who they are. And I'm not great with names. I can do them sometimes. I'm absolutely open to names coming through, but I'm not great. So I didn't really get a name, and she didn't really introduce herself. That's not really the vibration she works on. She's not there to have a straightforward conversation with me. She was letting me observe her, watching, basically, was the long and the short of it. Right, my lovelies, I'm going to go. It was a quick message today. And hopefully I will catch up with you guys next week. And I think next week's going to be divine healing. So I'll see you over on there. If you're looking for any one-to-one healing, I have got some availability. It's getting chocker now due to the summer, kids being off, and I'm booked up for a few fairs over the summer, that type of thing. So there is some availability, and I am open to booking one-to-one training at the moment, as you might have heard on some of my other posts and platforms. I'm not booking in dates yet because people they're not getting filled up. I don't have my own venue. I have to hire venues, and people still aren't coming out, either due to COVID and or due to money worries, all of that stuff. All of those awkward things about spending 2 years in a lockdown and having created some habits where you don't want to people too much. All of that stuff, I think, is really difficult at the moment, and there's a lot of fear still out there, which is obvious. You look at everything that's going on in government and everything that's going on in Eastern Europe, in the States, a lot of weird stuff going on at the moment. I think people are feeling into that. So it's fine. I'm open to one-to-one booking, but I probably won't have anything free now until sort of September, October time, in all honesty, because of where I'm booked up to. So if you do want to book in for one-to-one for anything, I'm sorry if you have to wait. And if you do book in and you have to wait, I love you for it. I might have some availability over the next week, I might. But then sort of after that, I think I'm going to struggle over the summer. So I will love you all and leave you. Bye, bye. Thank you, Sarah. Bye.